20 wins this season. They win 123-99. Payton Pritchard, his first double-double on the season, 27 points, 10 assists. He scored 19 or more in 8 of the last 9 games. So there are 2 players that really stood out here. Ron Holland, the rookie, with 26 points on 14 shots. But Payton Pritchard, Zeke, we talked about him before the game. We talked about him at halftime. And, you know, to get 27 and 10 on a night with Jayson Tatum off the floor, it's a luxury the champs have now.
I mean, his confidence, and then he's exciting. And not only that, he's playing the right way, passing the ball, moving the ball, taking good shots. You know, I thought the Celtics would win this game, Brendan.
No, you didn't. Stop it. Stop it. You was talking about that Detroit basketball. Payton Pritchard would have none of it. You see him right there, double step-back jumper. He had it cooking, had it going from the first half all the way throughout. Zeke made some great points. He was taking great shots, hitting big shots. Don't sleep on Derek White as well. Those 2 guys were absolutely cooking for 3. Derek White was 7 of 12 from the three-point line. Payton Pritchard, 7 of 15. So when you have 2 guys cooking like that, it's going to be hard to overcome. And let's not sleep. Like, Tatum didn't play, and they absolutely dominated. The biggest thing for me is I like the championship mindset. Third quarter, they have a little bit of a lead. And sometimes you see teams in this situation on a night where you're playing against a team like Detroit, you let go of the rope a little bit in the third quarter. They did none of that. They walked right out there in the third quarter. They punched Detroit in the mouth, knocked them out on the mat. Detroit never got back up after that.
You know what else was also impressive? Speaking of that, you know, when the bench came in, everybody played the same way.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. Nobody got out of character. They passed, they moved, they cut, they took good shots. I mean, you know, Missoula has really got those guys locked in.
That's what you talk when you talk about culture. That's what culture is. Because when you try to explain to somebody at home what culture is, because it's not a stat and it's not analytics, some people think it's not that important. But when you can get everybody, whether it's your best player or the 11th man, to come in and everybody plays the same way, that means something's being taught, something's being drilled, and more importantly, everybody buys in. If you don't play this way, you don't play.
Yeah.
And you guys say organizational level, right? And I was talking to you about this right before we came on. I look at their roster, the guys we're talking about on the bench, they keep their G League guys, Zeke, for 2-3 years. So I see Drew Peterson, I see Jordan Walsh, J.D. Davison. These are guys that are like, oh, we want to play in the NBA and have played together for 2-3 years under the same system.
I mean, that front office of Brad Stevens, and they got, you know, young Danny Ainge, you know, his son is there. I mean, they've done a great job in terms of evaluating talent, but finding people who can play the Celtics way, right? Play their style of basketball.
Well, how about MVP, your finals MVP, Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics?
You're sucking up to him because we got him on Arena Lane.
You know what? I'm going to say that is my guy, right? And not just because of what Jaylen Brown does on the court, but who he is as a human being. Always is great to have him on the show. First and foremost, thank you for taking the time, Jaylen. One of the things we've been singing this team's praises about is how you guys have come out this season after winning a championship. We've speculated in the media about why you guys have looked so hungry, but can you tell us what's your motivation to start the season the way that you have, even better than you did last year?
Just having the great mentality. Like, sometimes when you win a championship, you know, we hear about you getting complacent. So we've been trying to push back on that. You know, we just wanted to get going, defensively set a tone, and then just have fun playing some good basketball.
Jaylen, tonight you guys, obviously you didn't have Jayson Tatum, but you didn't need him because you had a guy coming off the bench in Payton Pritchard. Talk about how well he's played for you guys this season, and did anybody see this coming?
Yeah, Payton has been awesome, and I mean, we all seen it coming. I seen it coming. I said before the season that you know, sometimes we play through Payton. We got a lot of talent on this team, and he's capable of doing that in each and every night. And I got a lot of pushback at the beginning of the season when I said that. Actually, I said it about Detroit. Tonight, he had 25 and 10.
Hey, man, leave Detroit alone now. I'm just letting you know, like, that ain't the right thing to talk about. but anyway, it's good to see you, brother. And
yes, sir.
Max and I was talking about you earlier before the game and welcoming you to the Finals MVP Club. Now, this summer, you seem to have worked even harder at your game and gotten better in terms of your focus and what you're trying to do and trying to accomplish this season. Do you guys talk about back-to-back reheating? Is that part of the focus?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that we got a tremendous group of guys. We got some good talent, and I think we got a window. So why not try to maximize that window and be the best we possibly can? So as the leader, I come out each and every night, try to set the tone on defense, and then just try to keep everybody on one accord. Make sure our offense is run right, make sure our spacing is right, and make sure everybody's feeling good. That's kind of like my job.
You know, that's a great point you make about everyone on the team having chemistry, feeling good. We can't help but notice, right, across the board, the numbers that you're able to put up, you're capable of putting up, down a bit. But how much does winning make that as an impact as opposed to just putting up the numbers every single night?
Yeah, the regular season is a journey, and you got to maximize everybody on your team. So at times, like we got guys, we got talent, we play through them, we empower them, we encourage them, because we're gonna need them and deep in the playoffs to be to feel confident in his shots, and because they help swing games. So that doesn't just start in the playoffs. When the playoffs start, that starts in the regular season. So we empower our guys now. You know, for me, I feel like I could score the ball at a high level at any given moment. So it's great to just, you know, make sure my team is clicking on all cylinders, and I get to work on my playmaking ability a little bit.
Jaylen, can you talk a little bit about the Celtics culture in terms of what it means to be a Celtic, what it means to put on that uniform, and why you fit so well there?
Yeah, that's a good question, Zeke. It's a lot of history with the Boston Celtics, and it's an honor to live in the light of players such as Bill Russell, Casey Jones, you know, all of those guys that really created the culture in Boston. So to be able to stand for some of the things they stand for, but also on the basketball court, continue the legacy, win championships, and play deep into the playoffs, man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, a great start to your career. Hopefully it continues on its path. Jaylen Brown, thank you for spending some time with us. We appreciate you, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Happy
Congratulations.
holidays.
Love you, JV.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Love you too, Zeke.
So a lot to get to there, right? And one of the questions I was trying to get across to him, Zeke, we talked about it earlier, the secret, the hunger for more. When we watched Jaylen Brown, you know, in the bubble in 2020, for instance, he and Jayson Tatum were taking as many shots as possible, and they kind of had that feel of, oh, we got to get 25, 30 shots to win. When you watch him now, he's a completely different player, and you listen to him, it just seems like the numbers don't matter at all.
No, and that seemed like that's the Celtic way. I mean, again, we talked about, you know, Cedric Maxwell being, you know, a Celtic earlier. But Kevin McHale, who was the sixth man of the year, played behind Cedric Maxwell, I think, for 3 or 4 years before he became a starter. So the Celtics have a way of not only bringing you into their system, but making you understand how the Celtics play. And I remember when Kevin Garnett got traded from Minnesota to Boston. And I remember telling him this was going to be the best thing that ever happened to him, because Kevin Garnett, you know, even though he started with the Timberwolves, you could see that he was a Celtic. And those guys just have it written all over them. And I told Jaylen Brown when he was in college, coming into the NBA, and I called Danny Ainge, I said, you know, Jaylen Brown is a Celtic. He represents everything that the Celtics stand for, on and off the court. And both of those guys have become champions there.
You know, Brendan, I'm looking at this box score right now, right? And I see Jaylen Brown, 30 minutes, took 12 shots, right? Kristaps Porzingis, 18 shots. Derek White, 13 shots. Payton Pritchard, 20 shots. And that kind of tells me to what Zeke is saying, like, the leadership that Jaylen Brown now has it's not just words.
Yeah, nobody cares who gets the credit, because on a night where Jayson Tatum isn't out, if you have a selfish team, a guy like Brown says, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and pop out and show people. I'm going to show them what I'm all about. And he didn't do that. He said, hey, man, I'm going to let the game come to me. It was a Payton Pritchard game, a Derek White game. He let those guys take over. He obviously contributed, and he was a key factor in why they won, but it was White and it was Pritchard and it was Porzingis tonight, and he's cool with that. And when you get to a point where everybody's okay with that, that's the best place to be as a team that's trying to win a championship, because it's not about, am I an all-star? Am I all-NBA? Who's going to get this money? What contract it's going to be? When everybody's just coming out saying, listen, we're all moving in the same direction. We have one common goal. That's when you can get a lot done. That's where the Boston Celtics are right now. And a lot of times when you win a championship, it's not like that the next year, because the disease of me kicks in. It hasn't hit this team at all.
I want to share a story about Jayson Tatum that you just brought up, because last year, during the Eastern Conference Finals and during the finals, Jaylen Brown was playing well, and everybody was talking about Tatum needs to step up, so forth and so on. And I remember texting with him and his family saying, hey, it's okay to win, and you don't have to be the star. You don't have to be the MVP. And I said, then I started sending him some stats of Larry Bird's first game, or I think, I sent him some stats of Bird playing against Houston where he didn't get double figures. And, Houston, won a game or so forth and so on. But talking these young players through these situations, I thought Tatum and Brown both handled the situation last year extremely well. And you saw when Brown won the MVP, he brought up Tatum and said, we always going to be together. And that's what teammates is all about.
Yeah, championship team.
Yeah.